Connie. How are you? Can't hear you. I got you. There you go. There you are. What's up, Jeff?
Hello, Connie. I have to apologize to you and Rosemary because I don't think you have a mug that is Albany that they're gonna all have.
Yes, I got one.
Oh, you did? Good. All right.
I got one.
Maybe Caitlin.
Yeah, I talked to Caitlin about it.
Oh, good. And then, Lori, I'm sorry I don't have one either. I'm really sorry.
Do you have a mug, Lord?
We tried.
We did. We tried. We can't hear you, babe. Here, wait. I got you. You're off mute now. Look at Lori got her hairs did. Doesn't she look pretty?
Yay.
Looks like a teenager.
It's amazing what a haircut will do.
Ah, I'm still growing this mop. Connie, I wanna get. Can I give you a friendly nudge, please?
Yes,
You probably only have 400 emails a day, so I respect that one or two might get a little buried.
Is this the residential MS though? Okay. Yeah. And here's what happened. I have no idea how to get on ACES. I figured
that.
And
so
I meant to email you right back. I shrunk it, and then I had to close down everything because my screen froze. So I forgot you as a result.
I understand, like really, truly. You don't owe me any explanations. I completely understand how it happens. But I'll reset you. Do you want me to reset you? Is that what you?
Yeah, if you would. And I don't even understand where ACES is. Like, is it on the internet? Is it on the port? I am so clueless.
I hear you.
I used to use it all the time.
I'll give you a little walkthrough in the email, and then if you want to, you could always just call me, or we can Zoom or whatever, and you can try that. So, but we can wrap that up. I'll send you some info.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you. What's up? All right. Hello, welcome.
Gina was smart.
It's a quiet room, as it always is when we come on these, right? But I hope everybody has their coffee and their mug. Sorry, Lori. I'm sorry.
You owe me one.
I do. We do owe you one. We do owe you one.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're just waiting a couple more minutes to give some people some time to arrive. As you can hear, they're all coming. I'm going to end the chime.
I just undid it, yeah. I undid the chime.
I just ended it too.
Yeah, the chime gets
Oh, I swear I ended it.
so I'll do it.
You know, Zoom gets a little finicky every now and again.
Yes, it definitely does. But it's not my, I don't know, I've tried them all now, and Zoom seems to be my favorite, but
I agree, hands down on that. I've definitely been around all of them, and I found it to be, you know, just like anything else, you have wishes and wants and things you would change, but
I've been on WebEx, I've done Zoom, I've Skype. I haven't done a group Skype thing. I don't know if that's possible.
I've done the Microsoft meetings a few times, and then,
That's not good.
you know, so. We do have Dean Willett. Hi, Dean Willett.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you.
I'm taking a quick look at the participant list, and there's still people joining us, so we can maybe wait one more minute, but we're getting there.
Everyone have their cup?
Yeah.
Yes. Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday. We won't test you on what's in your cup. It might be coffee.
Hopefully it's iced coffee because it's hot.
Finally, it's hot, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. We probably have folks joining us from all over, so we'll have to maybe get a weather check.
Get a weather check, yeah.
Make sure nobody's still stuck in the cold somewhere.
Yeah, maybe put in the chat where you're attending from. It'd be fun to see.
Yeah, that would be fun to see. Oh, we got Hanover County, Virginia. Is that anywhere near Lexington? No, nothing.
All over the place.
Yeah. Chicago, Jersey.
And Joel's a jokester. Not so much.
Fair enough. I mean, not to be clear, not a lot is near Lexington. So the odds were good that it was not going to be.
Oh, was that it was the answer to the question. I thought it was where he was not so much. I thought it was okay.
Well, Richmond, Fredericksburg, that's not too terribly far, I suppose. Could be worse. Anyway, my brother's in Lexington is why I asked, so I'm familiar with down there. And I've heard that Devil's Backbone is hiring a hiker to throw beer parties next summer. So I feel like that might be my calling. It's a craft brewery in Virginia, and they're hiring a very cool summer job. All right. Well, I think that we probably have most of us. If a couple of your classmates join us a little bit late, that's no problem. Everybody can jump in. For those of you that haven't had the chance to formally meet yet, I'm Amy Mangione. I'm Assistant Dean of Admissions, and I have been enjoying, sort of getting to know you a little bit through this process. It's great to have you here today. This is meant to be a casual, sort of fun Q&A. We purposely kept it a smaller group, so you probably won't get much larger than this. Like I said, you might get one or two popping in and out, but we really wanted to just have a chance to have a more informal conversation with our dean, some of our other associate deans, and really just have you start to engage. We're really excited to have you in the fall, and so we want to know what you want to know. So I'll let Dean Willett start out, but I hope that you came ready to engage. We would love to hear more from you. Welcome.
Sure. So thank you, Dean Mangione, and it's great to see and some of you are familiar faces, which is really kind of cool since we've never been in a room together. But it's nice to see those of you who have met before through this magic of Zoom, and it's nice to see some new faces as well. So congratulations to all of you. We are thrilled to have you as part of the Albany Law family. And we really do want to spend this time sort of chatting and getting to know you and talking about whatever's on your mind. I'll introduce we've got lots of important people in the room, but two people who you'll get to know very well as students. First, our Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Connie Mayer. Connie, want to say hi. And our Associate Dean for Student Affairs, Dean Rosemary Queenan. Dean Queenan is here.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations.
And it's great to have them with us. If you have any questions about anything academic or student life issues, wellness issues, these are our go-to people. Dean Mayer and Dean Queenan both teach as well as, and they teach in the first year. So if you're lucky, they may be your faculty members as well. They're both just incredible folks and great teachers, and students love them. So you can get to know them a little bit early. So I really want to talk about what I want to talk with you about what you're interested in. And there's so much going on in the world today and at Albany Law School, and I'm sure you've got some questions about things. I'll tell you a little bit about some of the things that we've been doing and thinking, but I really don't want to spend much time talking at you. We have, of course, been spending a lot of time as a community thinking about racial justice and the aftermath of George Floyd's killing. We had a really intense town hall last night where our students and faculty and staff came together to talk about these issues and what we can do to make a difference and make a change in the world, but also how it feels to be part of this society right now with these incredibly trying and challenging issues ahead. It was a very candid conversation. I'll tell you, I think we all got very tearful as we listened to experiences of individuals in our community who have been directly affected by racism and by police violence, and the sort of call to action and what we can do as lawyers and as law students to change the system. So we can talk, if you want to talk about those things, we can talk about those things. We're simultaneously, of course, dealing with pandemic still and planning for reopening. And while that, it's actually in some ways something of a bright spot, because I think we're very hopeful that we are going to be able to be together in person come fall, and we are actively planning to begin to open up the law school building for limited purposes very soon. Within this month, we may be able to allow some. We are able to allow some people back on campus, which is a really good sign. Some of our students who are going to be studying for the bar exam are going to be able to use our library. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to have students back on campus. And we're planning for the fall. And some of you were in a session where we talked about the things that we know and the things that we don't know already. So one thing that we know that we've made the commitment to do is to give everyone who wants or needs an option for whatever reason to be fully remote. Everyone will have that option. You'll need to say it's because of COVID, and it would be, right? You otherwise would be coming. But if anyone knows right now that they're just not going to be comfortable, or they have health reasons, for not wanting to travel, we're going to be able to accommodate that for the fall. But we're planning to be in person, and we're planning to have you back and to be together. We're a really tight community. We talk about ourselves as a family. Sometimes we fight like family, but we also get to know each other and support each other like family. And it is really important to us to have as many in-person classes as we can, consistent with whatever the government allows, and whatever is consistent with keeping you safe, because that's important too. So we're gonna announce our plans. We're gonna give you all that information, but we can talk more about what we're thinking about, if that's helpful. I'm happy to talk about it. And Deans Quinn and Mayor are both really involved in, they're running the academic task force. We've got task force on health and safety and infrastructure and all the questions that we have to ask in order to reopen. But we're spending a lot of time on that. But we're so excited to have you back. And then we can answer questions about classes or preparing or orientation or anything like that. So I would say we're a small enough group that if you just want to speak up, speak up. If you prefer to raise your hand, you all know how to do it. Or if you have questions and you'd just rather ask them in chat, go ahead and do that. What do you want to talk about as we have our coffee chat or our coffee cup chat? Yeah.
I like the coffee cup chat. That's fun.
Coffee cup chat. Is anything on anyone's mind? How are you all doing? So it's a rough time.
So I'll talk first for the incoming students, if that's all right.
Sure. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us who you are and where you know.
I'm Connor Lynch. I'm from Albany originally. I went to undergrad at the University of Vermont and moved back here after that. So I've been back here for just over 5 years, and I have been working for Albany County until recently. I worked in human resources, and I've been thinking about going to law school pretty much since I was an undergrad, and now I've finally be attending in the fall.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. And I was forwarded an email that I think went out to alumni about your response, Dean Willett, to the George Floyd killing and all that stuff. And I thought, one, it was a really well-worded email, and I really appreciated that you were saying that you guys support, your students in this time, especially students of color. And I thought that was really good. And I was just wondering, if you could talk a little bit more about that discussion at the, the town hall or whatever it was last night, and what solutions, you propose for the law school to kind of move forward.
Sure. So it was a very raw discussion, and I think all the folks who were there would confirm that. We actually partnered with the leadership of our BALSA group, our Black Law Students Association, to host it, and it's going to be part of a series. There's no way you have one conversation, and you solve 400 years of problems. But the conversation last night was really about, it was a chance to listen to one another and learn from one another about what our experiences are and what they've been. And so we had some faculty who moderated the discussion and shared some of their own experiences. And then the students shared their experiences and thoughts. And some of the experiences were lifetime experiences, living as Black people. Some of them were experiences more recently or processing what's going on. What I think is very clear is a lot of people are in a lot of pain and really struggling to reconcile sort of the promise of the US and the United States with the reality. And in terms of forward forward-looking proposals, some of the things that came up were, you know, can we give students actual opportunities to do the work of combating racism, of working for racial justice, whether that's pro bono projects or can we create a clinic. I think there was widespread agreement that we need to think through our curriculum and what part of what I heard, and I'll look at Dean Queenan and Mayor, and actually Dean Minjun was at the meeting as well. We can do a better job at Albany Law School talking about these issues. We can really commit to making, so there was one student who talked about the experience of studying contract law or property law. Property law is built around chattel. The word chattel comes up, and if you know the history of this country, chattel was the word that was used for human beings when we had slavery. And we teach property, and what the students expressed is we hadn't wrestled with what it feels like to be talking about chattel. We're not connecting it to that history and acknowledging what it means in terms of moving forward. And so I think we've committed to that work, to looking at how we can do a better job. What are the opportunities we can provide? And then how do we support our students and each other as we go forward? Dean Queenan, do you have what else did you hear?
Yeah, that was a good summary. I think it was really a good opportunity for our Black students and our white students who support our Black students to share and speak. And so it was very powerful, very moving. And the other thing I wanted to add is we have a wonderful resource. We have an assistant dean for diversity and inclusion. His name is Troy Riddle. And so he's also been very involved with diversity initiatives on campus, and he has set up various committees. We have a student committee, a staff committee, an institutional committee, and a faculty committee, lots of committees. So, you know, he also participated in the program, and he's just a great resource for all of us, I think I can say, on these issues. I mean, he's obviously committed and made this his life's work. And so I think we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about the, just to your question, Connor, that the steps we might be able to take, but we want to do it, you know, strategically and effectively. And so I think that's going to take a little bit of planning on our part, but there might be some things we can do quickly and some things that'll take a little bit longer, because it's obviously not something we can resolve in a semester or even longer. It's going to take a while, but I think the other point that Dean Millett made about what we can do in classes, I think we're all starting to talk a little bit more about that. So Dean Mayer and I, you have a 2/3 chance of having us if you join us in the fall, right? Because we're both teaching civil procedure. And so, you know, even a class like civil procedure, which probably means nothing to you, I'm guessing, you know, it's very much about the procedure of litigating in federal court, has similar underpinnings that we probably should be thinking about and trying to figure out the best way to be mindful of that and discuss it with you all so that you are better educated on all of these legal issues.
And I think the only thing that I would add is there was a real push from the students about not only being much more intentional in our classes, teaching about these issues and connecting those dots that our history provides us. And sometimes we're, you know, too concerned about coverage to actually talk about some of the foundational things that really are important and make a difference. And so as the academic dean, I was really excited to hear from the students that they're thinking about the curriculum, that these things matter to them as course requirements and as a concentration. And of course, particularly, I am also the director of the clinical program here. And I think there's so much that we can do in the clinic to create new projects for students to work on that will be really meaningful, and hopefully even get first-year students involved in some of those projects. So I think that it was the beginning of a terrific conversation, but I'm also really excited about the future, and I hope that you all will participate in, some of the committees and some of the work that we're going to be doing next year to create more opportunities for people to talk about and participate in projects about racial justice. I just think it's a great time to come to Albany Law School. I really do.
And I just have one quick thing to add, and I would say that for the first time, and I don't know, it's weird, this virtual format and this sort of town hall forum that we're able to do, and the fact that you can have live conversation and chat conversation at the same time, it's very dynamic, right? And so there are limitations to not being together, but there's also been some pretty neat, sort of new things that have come out of trying these different things. And last night, we've always participated in these types and encouraged these types of conversations, but obviously this is a more pointed sort of time. But for the first time that I can remember, in a very, very clear way, in a give and take, I saw not only the sharing, but the acknowledgement that I hear it, and the acknowledgement of I've learned something and this is what I'm going to do. I hear you say this, and so now I'm going to do that. And it was like so encouraging to hear, and this was coming from students, from faculty, from staff. The entire community was responding in a very real way to not just like, I listened to a presentation and, oh, that's some thoughtful stuff, I'll go away. But it was really engaging, and it was people supporting each other, not just superficially, but you could tell that it really moved the dial. And the thought that has been coming for me lately is that sort of, I think so many of us are having our eyes opened in the world these days, right? But it's opened in a way, like you kind of knew it, but now you see it in a way you can't unsee it. And so I really feel like there's this momentum that is very, very hopeful. And I'm really excited about finally getting on the next page, because I feel like so many of us have been trying to do this work, and to really feel like there's a chance that you might actually turn the page now. It's a very, very cool time to be entering law school, I would say.
The world needs lawyers, good lawyers. So let me ask, if I'll change the topic for a moment, we can always come back, but I'm wondering about your experiences with online education. Did anyone here hoping to be online in the fall, or would you prefer to be in person? Jump in.
I prefer to be in person.
You prefer to be in person?
I second that.
In person. Yeah.
On the thought of academics, Dean Mayer, we had a question in the chat regarding academic schedules. Typically, academic schedules have been assigned in the first week of July. Do we think that time frame is expected to hold true this year with the whole COVID disruption?
Yeah, it should. We're planning on having the schedule nailed down with our contingency plans in the fall by the 30th of June. So there's no reason we can't get students enrolled in their sections and get the schedule out to you guys easily by mid-July. So yeah, we're moving forward on it, and we absolutely have a plan to get everybody back on campus. The only thing that would stop us is the governor, and if he says we can't do it, we can't do it. But that doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, we are reopening now slowly, but we're reopening, and so I have incredible optimism that we're all going to be back together. And Dean Queenan is right. You guys are going to see a lot of us in the fall between the two of us. So yeah, but I think that that schedule should be exactly the same this year.
Yeah, it really is. It's Albany County's opening up. Some of you are from here and others are from farther away. So I get to get my hair cut tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. There's dining outside and you know, it's starting to actually feel like it's really going to happen. You know, I think for a while, while we were all locked at home, we were nervous that this was going to be that would be the new normal. But we're really, it's happening. We're coming out, and they're you know, the virus. One of the doctors that we talked to said virus has left the county, which we hope the virus stays away. And doesn't come back. We were lucky in Albany. It's terrible everywhere, but compared to some other places, we really didn't have a terrible time. I see a question. Speaking of coming to campus this fall, when would be a good time to start looking for places to rent and get that all finalized by? So I don't know the answer to that. What would you say, Dean, one of the other folks who does more of the housing stuff?
I mean, I could pop in and I could say, I mean, it's one of those things where unfortunately the answer is it really does depend on you. Many of our students like to try to come in July, knowing that classes are going to start in August. And so they can, if they can start at least maybe in, you know, mid or late July, it gives them a couple weeks to kind of settle in and get to know the area and, you know, really feel like they're sort of in a rhythm before they start classes. You know, others really have, you know, things they need to wrap up and a life that they're sort of putting on pause in another place to come and join us. So they might want a little bit of that extra time. So I'd say, you know, plan on being here a week before classes at the latest to really, you know, put yourself in the best light. But anytime after, I would say, you know, at least maybe, you know, mid-July, either certainly the first week of August is a good time, but if you can get here in July and you want to start that, it might be a good time. Oftentimes, August is a good month for like turnovers where you have people ending their summer, right? So they're moving on, and then you have, it's a college town. There are a lot of colleges and universities in the Albany and the Capital District. So there's a lot of students coming in and out. So if you don't want to be in that massive rush, then August is probably not the time, right? You might want to come in July. But really there's no right or wrong, but I would definitely recommend you give yourself at least a week before you're ready for classes. Don't come the night before classes.
If the question is what, you know, when should I start looking for places to rent, you could do that sooner rather than later if you wanted to. But I do think that with you know, the virus, everything is there are more rentals. So we'll see. I mean, but I think students really, they spend, it's July that we see a lot of students picking their housing. How about UHA, the suites?
Yeah.
I see Lori Stevens, she's a master of everything. Lori, when do they apply for the suites? Do you know, or is
They're starting to apply now. And if they, for some reason, decide not to come, then they reimburse them. But the thing is, they need to get their deposit in because they usually have a waiting list. Not that they will have one this year, I'm not sure. But if they're interested in the suites, they should reach out soon.
So the suites are we refer to them like you all know.
Oh.
Right, when you're on campus, that's okay. I asked you about the suites. I didn't. The law school has two buildings. We're right next to the pharmacy school. We've got there's a track and a nice field, a soccer or football field, and just next to it, there's what we call the suites. It's UHA housing, and it is not the law schools. It's run by a different company, but a lot of law students choose to live in the suites. And it's for graduate students. So there's medical students and pharmacy students and graduate students from the Sage colleges. all in the suites, and it is what it sounds like, a suite. So you get your own room. They're really nice. Dean Queen and I did a tour when they opened. They served us nice little food. They've got, granite countertops and kitchens and furnished, and so it's a great option for you, especially if you're coming from out of town or out of state and you don't have the chance to go look at apartments. But we also have a lot of students that live in apartments and a lot of students who are looking for roommates. So that's also an option for you.
And the fact that they do the refundable deposit is actually a good option for people now. If you put in a deposit, so you have a safe space, and then if you want to continue looking and maybe you find a roommate and you want to go to a different option, you can still do that. But at least you're secured with something in case, while you're looking. Our Facebook group, which you've all been emailed about, is a great opportunity for that. I know sometimes there are offshoots and whatever too, so make sure you're kind of making the rounds and circulating and trying to sort of be as inclusive as you can and get to know the whole community, because a lot of people are talking about housing and things like that. So I would encourage you to network with each other. And our current students, often, particularly graduating students, will often post tips that they have, either places that they're leaving or places they know their friends are leaving, and they'll post tips in the Facebook group as well. So that can be a good resource. And then always email Miss Lori, because Lori in our admissions office.
She's your best friend, honestly. Like when you come to law school, you will know and love Lori, and she'll know all about you and your problems, and she'll solve them. And everybody loves Lori.
Yeah.
I go to Lori, Lori, help.
So Dean Willett, we do have some questions in the chat. I know also Dean Mayer, they have asked that if the virus or some other sort of catastrophe during mid-semester were to push us back to virtual completely, would we have pass-fail grades?
That's an interesting question. That would probably the faculty would have to decide that. We, this semester when we went when we transitioned from in-person to online, the faculty did offer an option to students to take a pass-fail grade, but we still had final exams. Students were still graded on the basis of their exams and the midterms and so on. And so our students got to elect whether to accept the letter grade that they received in the course or just take a pass. So it was a nice option for our students. If we had to make that switch again, I would anticipate that we probably would do it the same way. It's obviously very tough when you start, and you all must have gone through this in your last semester. You were, in person, and then all of a sudden you had to figure out how to take an online course. And so I think we're all better at it now. We know how to do it a little bit better, but I would anticipate that the faculty would probably give that same choice if that happened again.
And somewhat related academically to the virtual option, can you talk a little bit about how the experiential opportunities have been working, the internships and clinics and things, how they've been managing while things are remote?
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, it has been, again, we had no idea how this would work, but all of our students who are in the clinic and in field placements have been able to work remotely, through their offices. We've, met with clients by Zoom. The courts were online for a while. They were virtual courts, so you could still have, calendar calls and meetings, conferences with the judge through Zoom. So actually, we didn't miss a beat. The students continued to represent their clients, and again, remotely. But it actually worked out very well, and students were able to finish all of their the hours that they needed to get their credits. And the same is happening this summer. We have 20 students in our Summer in Practice program. And they're right now all working remotely with plans to go into their offices probably sometime at the beginning of July or maybe mid-July. But they're working very successfully in the U.S. Attorney's Attorney's Office, in the Attorney General's office, the DA's office. We have lots of students placed there. We have students in the Public Defender's office. So they're all doing you know, good work, meaningful work, and getting their hours in. I just had a meeting today with a student in the DA's office, and she was talking about the very interesting projects that she was working on. So, so it actually is very doable to you know, work remotely when you're in the clinic. And the same with our simulation courses. So you all are not eligible to take, these are upper division courses, but you know, we have a lot of simulation courses like trial practice, negotiating for lawyers, mediation, training. And again, all of those have been very successful using Zoom and breakout rooms. So everything is available just like it would be if we were fully in person, but we hope to be fully in person in the fall.
Right. And there are some students who are doing their summer jobs in law firms, and the law firms are open again. So some of our students are actually going into the office already. So we really are seeing that and hopeful about that. So there's a question, I saw a question about the food in the cafeteria. So this is it's a constant, students love our food in the cafeteria. I don't love our food in the cafeteria. Dean Queen, you want to talk about the food in the cafeteria?
Sure. So I will say it's made with love and care. We have a very small group of staff who work in the cafeteria, and they take a lot of time in preparing your meal. So sometimes, you know, if you're in a rush, it's tough to just swing by the cafeteria. But we had made some progress in providing some to-go options. And I am in a constant state of working on adding healthy options to our.
There are a lot of chicken nuggets eaten.
Yeah, but the chicken nuggets and the
they love them, but giant piles of fries.
Yeah, but we actually, before the pandemic, we were talking to a local restaurant owner, and her restaurant's called Healthy on Lark, and Lark Street is very close to the law school. It's actually it's beautiful street. And she's been working on ways in which she can come in the late afternoon and provide some healthy options. But so, you know, it's gonna be a little bit different in the fall, likely, as a result of this, but we're very mindful of providing options for you all. And the other thing is, where the law school is, there are a lot of options in walking distance. So last summer, it was very big news. We got a Chipotle, and so we were very excited about that. And you can easily walk there. There's a Starbucks, which is, I mean, you know, you literally could throw something across the street to get to Starbucks. So that's obviously very popular. There's a Panera. There's a little Italian takeout. So the local people will know Bellini's. There's a little Bellini's counter, which has
Bellini's is amazing. Best salads ever.
Yeah. And there are some restaurants that you could even walk to that are a little bit further south on New Scotland. So it's really nice to have as an option because it's, you know, right in the law school. But we also, the College of Pharmacy, we share a campus with them, and they have a very large, we share the bookstore and student center, and they have even a bigger cafeteria with additional options. So lots of options for food in the area.
Right. And a lot of people do just bring their lunch or bring their food. And, you know, for the fall, for safety reasons, it may look different. One of the things I think it's going to happen next week, there's going to be a big tent. They've ordered it because we're opening the library. We hope students will be there. We want to give them a safe place to eat outside. So there may be some things that are different from how it's been in the past, but I'm sure there will be chicken nuggets again at the law school before long, even though, or I don't know what they are, chicken tenders or something. But,
yeah. And we do have microwaves and refrigerators available for student use as well. So sometimes if you bring your food, sometimes the students will take advantage of that. Dean Willett, would you be able to share a little bit about what you expect your honors program to look like next year?
Yeah, so this is something if you're interested, you'll be invited to apply. And what it is it's really an enrichment program where a group of students spends a little time with me, and we try to talk about what are you interested in, and make sure that if you're interested in immigration law, we'll bring in an immigration expert for you to get to know. If you're interested in the courts, we'll go down to the courts and watch a trial or an appellate argument, and we have a lot of judges who are alums, so often we get a little tour of the courtroom, and so it's not, you're in your first year of law school, you're going to be working very hard, and this is really for first year students. There's lots of honors opportunities for second year students. You can be teaching assistants or sponsor fellows, or be on law review, but we found that some community sort of around intellectual life and just creating a small group can be a nice thing. So it's a fun thing for me. I taught in the classroom for many years, 15 years before becoming dean, and I really haven't. I'm teaching currently. I'm teaching a class on COVID law, but it's the first time I've taught for 5 years. So the honors program is sort of my chance to be with students and get to know you. So I hope you'll apply and do it. I felt bad for this year's honors group because, of course, we went remote, which made it a little harder. But we're going to be in person, and we'll be able to figure out how to make it work. So hope that answers your question. Is there any more chat questions?
D-Man Jones muted, but she's probably asking me to talk about orientation.
You can go to orientation first, and then Dean Mayer, you have a couple as well. So
okay,
go ahead for orientation.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we are planning. We're still in the planning stages of orientation. So I think the question was, what programs will there be? What types of activities will we be doing? So there will probably be. So we'll definitely have some on-campus sessions of orientation. And as Dean Millett said, for those of you that need to participate in classes remotely, you will be able to participate in the in-class or on-campus sessions remotely as well. So no worries there, but there will probably also be some remote sessions. So orientation will include some community building sessions. There will be a diversity and inclusion session. You'll have sample classes, several sample classes. So we're working on at least one of those. We're going to plan to be on campus, but maybe two. And then there'll be some additional sessions that are focused on wellness, and you'll also meet everyone will have a faculty advisor. You'll meet with your faculty advisor. You'll meet tons of students. Our students serve as orientation leaders, and they already start, when orientation is done in the fall, they start asking us if they can be leaders for the next fall. So we already have a lot of students who really want to do that. And we're also planning on reaching out to you even earlier than that, so that you can all sort of get together and talk with 2 and 3Ls and learn more about the school and ask any questions you have. But it's, so it's a sort of a combination of meeting the folks that you will see every day, as well as getting you ready for classes. So the academic, the sample classes are really helpful in that respect. And then some other sessions that we like to do to let you all get to know one another. So happy to answer any other specific questions, but hopefully that gives you an idea. The other thing I should say is, while I believe the calendar might indicate that orientation is Wednesday through Friday, it's likely going to be all week. So you might want to plan that it won't be all day, all week, but in order to consider whether we need to make some changes in accordance with social distancing guidelines, we want to have the option to spread things out a bit. So just for planning purposes, I would plan that you probably will need to be here on Monday, which is the 17th, August 17th.
Okay, thank you. Dean Mayer, they are curious about what their 1L day might look like. How will they be on campus? How long, morning till night? And then how are 1L classes largely assessed?
Okay, so the schedule, you will have classes across all 5 days of the week, but not all day. So there are days where you may only have 1 or 2 classes. So we try to schedule the classes so that you have some time in between classes so that you can, if you still need to read some cases, you have a little bit of prep time. We try not to spread them out so that you have an 8 o'clock class and a 4 o'clock class. We would never do that. The earliest class in the fall semester, I believe, starts at 8:30. And I think there's only 1 class that starts at 8:30, but there are, we sometimes start at as early as 8:30. Typically classes are done, first year classes are usually done by 4 or 4:30. So it's across the day, but your particular section may only have 1 or 2 classes each of those days. So you don't have to plan on being on campus all day long, but of course you can be if you want to use that time to study in the library, to prep for your classes or do research or whatever you need to do. And so again, we will get schedules out to you all by mid-July, and you can really see what that schedule looks like. With respect to assessment, I think I saw a question about how first-year courses are assessed. Yes, so first-year courses are assessed mostly by exams. So usually there aren't any extensive research papers in your first year, but you do group work. You might do a presentation, but the main form of assessment is through exams. Most of us have midterms or quizzes throughout the semester. But you will have a few first-year courses where the assessment comes from a single exam at the end of the semester. We've spent an awful lot of time in the last 4 or 5 years trying to get faculty to do more assessments throughout the semester. I think it's better for you. I think you learn more throughout the semester if you are more frequently, not necessarily tested, but challenged to understand the material through group work, problem solving, even the presentations that are mentioned in the chat. So it's a variety of things, but certainly every first year class will have a final exam that will be an important part of your final grade for that particular course.
With one exception, which is our lawyering class.
Of course, yes.
Right?
I'm sorry.
So you're gonna have one class that's very small. I used to teach it. It's a great class where you're from day one. You're a lawyer. You have a client, and you'll be in that class. You'll do research. You'll learn how to do legal research. You'll learn how to do negotiations, writing legal memos. You'll, depending on your professor, you may do deposition stuff. You'll write a summary judgment motion, and then the class culminates at the end of the year with an oral argument. You write an appellate brief, and everybody argues their case, and that's part. So each of the pieces is graded. So that class is very different from the typical law school class, and is something you handle a case from the beginning to end. And I still remember, I went to Albany Law School, took the lawyering thing. I still remember my problem. I had a dog bite case, and I still remember Odie the dog, the pit bull. You really get to know your case, and it's fun. And Dean Quinn's taught lawyering too.
Yeah. Yes. So the question about counseling. So let me just share a little bit, if it's okay, on that. So we have, I would say, a very robust wellness program at the law school. We've been working on it. We've had some really generous board members who have given really kind gifts in support of wellness programming and initiatives. We have a blog, and I'm going to put the link in the chat so that you can take a look at it. It's heavily COVID focused right now. You'll see there are tabs. Students have been doing a lot of posting around what we can do while we're socially distancing and quarantined to take care of ourselves. So you'll see there's some fun COVID cinema, COVID cooking, and COVID resources. And then there's some just general resources in the Albany area also. So we have a counselor who is on site on campus. He has been wonderful, and he's been really didn't miss a beat. He's been doing now his sessions on Zoom. As soon as we were off campus, I called him and he said, sure, absolutely. So, and he's committed to staying with us in the fall, and he's willing to do whatever students are comfortable doing. So if a student wants to meet by Zoom, he's happy to do it by Zoom. And if we can do so safely, he obviously would be willing to meet somewhere on campus or near campus. So I'm going to copy and put it in the chat, but I'm happy to answer any specific questions about that.
Yeah, the wellness program has been great. I got to participate because we were doing it remotely. There was some exercise classes, some high intensity interval training stuff, and there's been some meditation stuff. We have a what do we call the room in the library? It's a meditation room.
Serenity room.
Serenity room. That folks use if you need a private space for meditation or for prayer. And so, you know, we recognize we have to take care of ourselves first. And Dean Quinn has really done a great job with the wellness program. It's very nice stuff.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for answering all the questions. I think we got to all the questions that I saw in the chat. So if you had posted something in there and we didn't talk about it, now's your chance to give us the flag. I think I kind of scrolled through and I think we got everybody. We see a new one. Does Albany law have policy for students that miss classes or exams when called, say, to New York State Guard activity, things like that? What's the attendance policy for exigent circumstances?
There's the attendance police.
Yeah, so we have an attendance requirement that you're allowed to miss up to 2 weeks worth of classes, and after that you're subject to dismissal, but just subject to dismissal. If there are extenuating circumstances, then there's a process by which you just alert Dean Queenan or I to what that problem might be, and we adjust the attendance, you know, to make sure that you know, that you're accommodated. So there are lots of situations in which we have students who they become ill. We've had students who have had accidents and couldn't attend. And so we set up ways for them to attend remotely. We're very creative about that. So again, we do have an attendance policy, and it's required by the American Bar Association, who is our accreditor. But we certainly have provisions for accommodating students who have extenuating circumstances.
Right. If a student got called up for New York State Guard active duty, we'd work with the student for sure.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things you'll find is we are so small, and we get to know you that a lot of our answers are, you know, we'll just work with you and figure it out. And it's a problem if you're not going to class for no reason, and hopefully we catch that and catch up with you and figure out what's going on with you, because, you know, you should be there. That's where the learning happens. So,
right. Dean Queenan, is there a gym on campus?
We have an actual gym on campus, like not a what you would probably think of, like your high school gym with a basketball court. It's quite fun. Students really enjoy it. But there are basketball. There's a basketball court. It's used by students for that purpose. We have some other athletic organizations. There is a floor hockey team. They are or are not active depending on the year.
Indoor soccer, rugby.
Soccer,
Right.
so soccer, yep. And a lot of them, when they need to, will practice in the gym rather than the field outside. As far as the typical fitness gym that you're probably thinking of, the College of Pharmacy has a gym and you can join it. I want to say, I think it's $45 a semester is my recollection. If someone wants to let me know, I can find out and get back in touch with you. But I believe that's accurate for the fee for that gym.
Yeah, a fair number of students use it.
Yeah, there's also several like more traditional, commercial membership gyms in the area that students use too. There's really options for virtually everybody. I mean, if you want a little or a lot, we can, point you in the right direction. I feel like there was another, books to read. Any suggestions for books to read or other good ways to prep as an incoming 1L? I'll say quickly, I won't steal Dean Queen's thunder because I know what she's going to say because we have something fun coming up this summer. But I will say quickly, read whatever you like, but read a lot, right? So get back, if you're not an avid reader, or if you're someone who's been like, out of the academic circuit for a while and you're just getting back in, get those reading chops back primed. You don't have to read law books. You can read whatever it is that interests you, but definitely get yourself ready for that volume again. If you've just been reading sort of, BuzzFeed and headlines and cereal boxes, it's not going to get you where you want to be for a 1L year. So definitely you're going to need more than the headlines. You're going to need more than the scrolling. You're going to sit down and read something thoroughly from front to front, digesting it, right? So I would say just get yourself up for that, and then just get yourself steady and refreshed and, feel like you get all of your other sort of things in your life in order, and give yourself some rest and sort of make sure that you come feeling refreshed and prepared and focused. So whatever you need to do to feel that, to be in a good headspace, a good rhythm, is where you want to be. So I would put some energy into that. And we also will be having some more programming throughout the summer with current students to help you talk about those things as well. So stay tuned for that. Dean Queenan, reading this summer, is it a thing?
It's a thing. So we have 4 students who just finished their first year who have started the Albany Law Literary Circle. And so is there a link?
A link on the Facebook page that I bet you
Okay.
Ben will pull up for us because he's quick on the draw like that.
And they would love for any of you to participate if you're interested, but they have quite a following. I can't remember how many people, but there is a large group that has already expressed interest, and they're dividing people up by topic. So we've already received some homework. Those of us that are on it, we had to do a survey to find out what we want to read about. So they're trying to assign people to groups. So it's sort of like a book club. And I think it'll be a really fun way for us to build community in a different way, while also doing something very important and something most of us enjoy.
Yeah, thanks. We encourage you to join. You're more than welcome. You're invited. We want you there. So we hope that you'll join. So please feel free. The link is posted in the Facebook page. I circulate it periodically, but if you, you can always just reach out to one of us as well. So
I'll jump in with just, given the conversation that we had as a community last night, Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow and Just Mercy are both books that I would recommend if you're interested in the racial justice issues. You'll learn a lot, and they may actually be some of the groups in the literary circle may choose those books if you're interested in reading them and talking about them with others.
Definitely. Awesome. Thanks. And Ben posted another link that our podcast, our Albany Law podcast, the two students that founded the Literary Circle are being highlighted on there. So he shared a link there as well. And I can send you all a follow-up email with these links and things that we had in the chat just to kind of help you reference. So don't feel like you have to scatter to do that. But I want to be cognizant of our time. We are right on time at 4 o'clock. And so I would invite Dean Willett or Mayor or Queenan if you have any closing thoughts for our newest Albany Law family members.
First, we want to have a picture. So can everyone get
right.
their picture mug?
I'm glad somebody remembered about the picture. Can we have a photo op, guys?
I have this massive thunderstorm out there. It's like scary sounds, but you're storming and
would anybody? So
right.
we're gonna do like a 3, 2, 1 cheese, right? Because we're just gonna do a still shot.
Yeah, to Albany Law. Here we go.
Cheers.
1, 2, 3,
3, 2, 1.
One.
Awesome. So thanks, guys. We'll be sure to share.
We love talking with you. We can't wait to see you in person or remote, whatever you decide. But in person, in particular, I think we really want to see you. Let us know if you're coming to campus. We can socially distance outside the building until we open the building. But we want to meet you and hope that you get time to meet with each other. And anything else? Dean Queenan, any final remarks?
No, enjoy the summer. We look forward to meeting all of you. And I put my email in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me any questions.
Great.
Yeah, very, very nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much for coming. And if you have any questions for me, obviously send me an email as well about the program. But be on the lookout for your schedule. It should get to you in about the second week in July. Okay, so.
Oh, Ben's already got our snapshot. He's so quick like that. Everybody say thanks to Ben for being our behind the scenes, IT. So
thank you, Ben.
Our mugs. Thanks, Jeff.
Yes, and thank you, Jeff, for our mugs, and thank you, Lori, for all the advice, and thank you, other Jeff. Where's Mr. Shands? Did he already drop off? Maybe he dropped off.
Next thing. Yeah.
Everybody keeps moving, but I just wanted to. So I'll stick around for a few minutes just in case there's any stragglers who might have something to say. But we want to be respectful of your time. Do stay tuned. Thank you for coming, and we're glad that you asked so many questions. You really covered a lot of ground. Shows that you're really giving some real thought to this, and we'll continue to provide programming all summer long with all different members from our community. So keep me informed on what you would like to know more about and who you would like to meet. If that's alumni, it's staff, it's students, we're here for you, and that's what we want to do. So thanks for coming.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
Thanks. All right. And just like that. Thanks, Ben.
It went really fast.
It goes really, when they're
really
like asking questions and they're engaged, right? It goes super fast.
Yeah.
So what do I need to do? Save it to see it? Download. It's downloading. Open file. I love it. Oh, it's super cute. Oh, no, it's not. I'm not super cute, but it's.
I want to see it.
It's in the chat.
Did you open it?
Huh?
Yeah, it should be in the chat. Also,
making me save it.
That's also just like snapshotting it very quickly and getting it up very quickly. When we get the actual video file,
okay,
I can
pause it.
I get a little bit cleaner of a photo that way.
Awesome. That's fun though. I mean, part of the charm of this stuff.
Cute.
It is cute, and I don't obsess about it, but I can't. It's my trigger. I can't help but notice, but I don't obsess anymore. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. It's just as weird.
It's weird, and it's human nature, right? I mean, nobody loves pictures of themselves. Well, no, there are people who love pictures of themselves.
So, Amy, do we need to talk, or do you want to just communicate by email?
It's up to you. I mean, we could stay right here. We could go over to our link from this morning. We could.
Let's go to the link from this morning because this is being recorded.
Okay. Out. Thank you, Ben. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Ben.
Take it easy.